Alright, you Northreachers, I didn't come all this way for nothing. I came to hear the best and boldest among you. December 23rd in Lupin Moon, we'll be having a bardic competition. Singers, storytellers, and dancers alike. Answer the call. Nay, answer the question. Do you peasants got talent?
And we're live. Welcome back, Northreach, to another episode of The Chopping Block. I'm Hars, and as always with me is Vex.
Hello.
And our guest for today is the Kingdom GMR. Welcome, Baron Deiter.
Hello.
How's it going tonight, Deiter?
Pretty good. How about your foot and salt?
I've been doing good. I spent this weekend just kind of catching up on a lot of like just content I've been missing out, like just anime, movies. I saw Coco this weekend, actually, the new Pixar movie. It was really cute.
I am intrigued to go see that. When I get time, I will definitely do so.
Yeah, they do like a 20-minute Frozen thing at the beginning, though, so just a word of caution if you think it's just okay.
So, Frozen thing. So they sing, or what do you mean by Frozen thing?
Like, it's a 20-minute short, pretty much. Like, they play before the movie. It's pretty long, like, compared to the average Pixar thing.
So it's the pre-movie that's going to be interesting. All right.
Well, I mean, the movie afterwards, I shouldn't be saying, Coco is actually really good by itself. It's just, like, when I walked out of the movie theater, like, one of the first things I saw by the desk when I was leaving was there was just a bunch of Frozen merchandise, and I'm just like, oh my god, I really hope that it doesn't outshine the movie it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I heard they were making a Frozen 2, so that should be interesting.
Yeah, I guess that's interesting is a good word.
I would have much rather have celebrated Big Hero 5 instead of Frozen.
Baymax.
I'm all for more Baymax, definitely. How about you, Vex?
Oh, what? What's the question?
I mean, like, how have you been?
How have I been? Oh, I've been great. I got my laptop fixed this weekend, finally.
Sweet.
And so I got to download Destiny 2. Started to play that, and I'm having a lot of fun. Punchy all the time.
I have not.
That's all I do is hand cannon and punches.
Is that any good, by the way? I haven't actually played Destiny 2.
It's really, really fun. I like it. It's your typical first-person shooter.
Yeah.
You can play with your friends and kill aliens. It's great.
Yeah, I played the first one, and it was kind of like a Borderlands meets Halo meets World of Warcraft, kind of. Mm-hmm. And from what I'm told, the second one's a lot more of that. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. The story was more cohesive though, because there was one.
There is?
For Destiny 2, yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, because the first one, I remember that was like the weakest part of the story.
Well, who knows? It may turn into another Halo universe, or Gears of War, or, God forbid, another Call of Duty.
Yeah.
You know,
Blizzard's got the reins now, so.
Oh god, yeah. Blizzard's really Blizzard's really got a death grip on the gaming industry ever since, like, you know, the fall of Konami and the endless atrocities created by EA.
I like that one.
What?
Endless atrocities.
Oh god. Okay, I wish I could tell you that was planned, but that was not. That was not planned.
I love it. High five.
EA shall now be known as Endless Atrocities.
Endless Atrocities, okay.
There's the show title.
Okay, Endless Atrocities, I like it. But yeah. So alright, I think we can start looking at some of these questions we got for you here, Deiter. The first one we got here is from Karina, and she asks, do you play Pokemon Go? And if so, what team are you on?
So, the simple answer is no, I do not play Pokemon Go. I remember playing Pokemon back when it was red and blue on the old gray brick Nintendo Game Boy, the one that weighed like 15 pounds. So I played that on the old grayscale screens, and I had a good time with that. And as more and more games were released, I started kind of getting out of Pokemon, and it looks like a lot of fun. I saw a lot of people doing it, and they enjoyed it, which is great. I just never got back into it or back into the lore after Red, Blue, and Yellow.
That's fair. All right, then I guess a follow-up onto that one is, so you played the original. Who was your starter choice?
So I played as all three starters. The very first one I chose was Charizard because, of course, he's a dragon and he spits fire, and that was awesome.
Oh, of course.
And then I played through the whole game with him, beat all the gyms, went back, played with Squirtle, and then finally with Bulbasaur. So I've played with all three of them. They all have their bonuses and their drawbacks. And especially the one that is, I forget which one it was really hard to play with, but you eventually, you learn how to fight with all of them. So it's a good mix-up.
That's fair. Yeah, I swear, I'm like one of the only people I know that's like this, but like, I actually really liked playing as Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur was pretty awesome. Like a dinosaur with a giant flower on his back, so it was kind of cool. I don't know if he was a frog or not, what he was supposed to be. But...
I'm not sure either.
He had teeth.
He had teeth. But if I had to, like, see, just generally, like, the best thing about it for me was like the type advantage. Like, you were pretty much, you had a type advantage against the first two gym leaders. You took half damage for the third. You were also poison type, so you could take the fourth one. The only two hiccups you'd really have would be the psychic and the fire type, but by that point you should have like 2 counters for each of them, so it's like... Then again, I'm also really biased, so take that for what it's worth.
Tacky.
Yeah, I more of just played with it because it looked cool.
Also fair.
Our next question is from Malik. How did you make or get your persona name?
So I read these books called Warhammer Fantasy, which was all about, well, if anyone who's played Warhammer Fantasy, they understand that it's the tabletop game with where you make and paint models to make armies.
Right.
I got into that many years ago, and reading a book set in Mordheim, which was about a priest of Mor, who is the god of death, and his name was Deiter Weissman. And at the time, his character was really reminded me a lot of who I wanted to be as an Amtgard character. So I took his first name, and then I did a little bit of research into German, and Braun, B-R-A-U-N, is how they spell brown for German. So it was Deiter the Brown. And then it became Deiter Braun because people kept screwing it up. And eventually it just became Deiter Braun, spelled B-R-O-N. And then the von Bohnschwinger is actually a title. And there's a fun story behind that. So take that for what it's worth.
Oh, please, go on. You can't just leave us there.
Okay, so let me get all ready for this story here. So, many years ago at a Renaissance fair down in San Diego, California, there was a bunch of us out camping, and we all got a little tipsy one night, enjoying our adult beverages, and this one person decided to introduce us to this game called the Dangly Bone and the Mousetrap Race. And it's a terrible game which involves a lot of inappropriate shenanigans.
Oh God! The name alone suggests that.
So what you did is you put a bunch of mousetraps at one side of the field, and then all the contestants tied a string around their waist with a chicken bone tied at the other end, and this chicken bone dangled obviously between your legs, and it was about down to your knees. The rules were very simple. You had to run from one field to the other without the bone touching your legs or falling. You had to get to the other end, and through manipulations of the body, get the bone that was on the end of the string to trigger the mousetrap and to get the mousetrap stuck on the bone. You then had to return across the field without losing the bone, the mousetrap, or having it touch your legs. At any point, you had to return to the beginning and start over. I had a few too many drinks that night, and so I hiked my pants up really high, spread my legs really, really wide and did a weird sumo waddle walk across the field in record time. About the time anybody else had even gotten a few steps, I was already at the other end of the field attempting to do an odd teabag version of putting a chicken bone into a mousetrap. It's
awesome.
as humorous as you would imagine. Yes. This, of course, then resulted in me getting the chicken bone stuck in a mousetrap. And I then waddled back across the field in record time. None of the other contestants had made it even to the mousetraps yet. I then celebrated by dancing around in a weird sumo, half squat dance. So my title, and this was at an Amtgard event, so my title became Deiter von Bonschwinger.
That's amazing. That is a solid piece of lore you've just given us for that. Thank you, Deiter.
Maybe if people convince me well enough, I will run another von Bonschwinger event at a campout, and we will all attempt to run across the gym and put a bone in a mousetrap.
Hey, I'm game. Let's do it. Alright, so this next one we got is from Mitsasuro from Ravenstone. And that is, what is more important to you, questing or fighting?
So I actually really like this question. This is an excellent question. So fighting and questing both have their places in Amtgard. To me, Amtgard is important, thus both fighting and questing are important. Fighting is important to me because the core of the game essentially is a struggle of contest between two people, or more. Without fighting, you don't have Amtgard, you have Nero, which is a very, very light combat LARP. However, if you only do combat, you tend to head more towards Dagohir or Belagarth. Amtgard has a very nice mix of being able to have fantasy elements included in fighting. So you end up with people like Sword Knights. You end up with people like Grim, Goran, myself, various other people who basically dominate the field out there. So if you had only fighting all the time, nobody would have any fun. Because the guy who can swing stick the fastest and the best is always going to win. So you get a guy out there who has, he may not be the greatest fighter, but God, he can memorize some spells. So he goes out there and he hits me with a finger of death or a fireball or something, and he kills me instantly. That makes the game fun for him, which means he comes back, which means he brings his friends back. And when you include a quest in there, you grow the game even further, and there's more people for me to fight and have fun with. So, both are important to me.
It's a pretty solid answer. I actually like that. Okay, Vex, you want to rush in both this one because, Okay, so this next one's from Deli, and Vex, you want to take the first go at this one?
Deli asks, delighted to the deluxe delusion that the diligent delegation delist delirious delinquents, would you delete delicate delectables to delude the delay of delicious delights?
Can we get like a round of applause for Vex on this one? Because I was not going to get that the first time.
That was very well done, Vex.
Thank you.
The simple answer would be no, I would never delete delectables in order to delude delicious delights.
I'm honestly just kind of confused about the content of that question. It's like, wait, you would delete delicate delectables to delude delay of delicious delights? So does that mean you would, like, eat things to stop people from eating things? I don't get it.
If you're happy about the upgraded perception that focused management... what's delist? Another word for delist. Untasks. Insane punks. See, now I don't even know what that means. That's not helping.
God.
It's not helping at all.
The more you dig into it, the more confusing it gets. So the answer I would give is very simply no.
Yeah, okay, I'll take that. Yeah, if you notice that question, there's like, there's a lot of hard reacts, but there's only one angry react, and that is my react.
If you're happy about mismanaging punks, would you get rid of treats to trick treats? Like what? Deli what?
Delude. I don't really even get the... I feel like he just wanted to do a really long tongue twister to see if we could do it on the show.
I think he was hoping we would all read it off and get tongue twisters or something.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on then. So the next one we got is from Lachlan. In a game of Cards Against Humanity / Cards Against the Monarchy, what would your white card be?
Oh, that is actually kind of a tough one, because on one hand you got to be appropriate and, you know, I got to act like I'm in charge and I'm an officer, and on the other hand, I'm kind of a crazy guy. So
I'd say go full ham.
Well, I think the best jokes are always the ones that have the simplest answer. Mm-hmm. So my white card would just have to be Deiter, only Deiter. Put that in any, context you will, and it does become pretty funny.
Yeah, actually, now that I really think of it, it works. Alright, that about wraps up the questions we got from the actual thing, which I'm kind of sad that we didn't get more, but at the same time, that leaves us more time for the second half of our show, and the rest of you and our longtime watchers know what it is, but for first-timers, this is Vex's lightning round. And this is pretty much just one where I let Vex go off her hinges and just do whatever she wants. So, with that, Vex, it's all you.
Okay, so, which nerd, inlet? Nerd consumption do you prefer media-wise? Books, TV, movies?
Content is what you're looking for.
Consumption. Consuming.
I am an original RTS player, real-time strategy. I started out with Warcraft back when it first came out, that first game. I'm also into manga. I read a lot of that, particularly the Berserk series.
Yeah,
there you go. So I've read the Berserk series. I used to have the entire collection. Over the years, I've ended up losing it, but I did once upon a time own the entire collection as it came out, much to the chagrin of many of my romantic lady friends who see that and kind of go, what the heck? Those are my two main things. Occasionally I watch anime, but it has to be the right anime. Too often you get the yelling, screaming anime, and that bothers me. Anime with a good story plot line that is intricate and well developed is something that I greatly appreciate, and I have not found a lot of those over the years.
Actually, that sort of leads me to a follow-up question. So you said Berserk. Have you been watching the anime they put out for that recently? Like, I think it came out a couple years ago, and I think it's still going now.
So I watched the original series when it came out that covered that started with showing him as the Black Swordsman, and then it did the throwback to when he first was a young child and on through his adventures on through the
Band of the Hawk. The Band of the Hawk, right?
Correct. So I watched that many years ago. They did leave out some of the important characters that should have been in it, unfortunately. And then they moved on to... Then I watched Berserk, the Golden Age arc, which was a very interesting art style choice. I thought it was well done, though. And that one also ended up leaving out some characters. They added in some more, but I think they also toned it down a lot for TV, because between the manga and the anime, there's some things they really could not put on the... Yeah. So I watched that. I have not had the chance to really watch anything else on Berserk because I'm kind of waiting for it all to come out at once, so I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I watched the bit of the new series, and see, it looks good. I like it because it takes place after, like, the Golden Age, because, we haven't been getting a whole lot of that content-wise, but, like... you know when you're playing one of those like anime-based video games, like, you know, Dragon Ball Z Budokai or like Naruto Ultimate Ninja or Dynasty Warriors, and it's like that weird 3D, 2D animation? It's kind of like that for that entire series, and it's a little hard to watch sometimes.
It is definitely one of those for the Golden Age. It is definitely one of those that I would put on and I watched kind of out of the corner of my eye as I was doing other stuff. It's not something that I have ever actually sat down and devoted 100% of my attention to. To be honest, normally when I watch it, I'm making chainmail, so and that diverts my attention most of the time.
That puts you in the mood for it, I guess. Yeah, a new anime I actually started watching recently. It's called The Ancient Magus's Bride, which I actually thought it was really cool. It's kind of like, did you ever see like any of the Miyazaki movies, like Spirited Away or Princess Mononoke?
Some of my favorite movies, yep.
Oh, sweet. Then, yeah, it's kind of, imagine that, except for it's a little bit more focused on like Celtic lore. Like there's a lot of Fae talk, like you see Queen Titania of the Summer Fae. It's really cool.
I will have to get into that here one of these nights, especially since how I work nights now. So
fair enough. Yeah, I would highly recommend it though. It's probably one of my favorites to come out this year. All right, Bex. I'm sorry I kind of hijacked your part of the show here. So
that's fine.
all right, so back to you, Vex.
Okay, you mentioned chainmail. What kind of crafting do you do?
So I have, over the years, I've dabbled in a little bit of everything. I like chainmail because I like the way it looks, I like the way it feels, and it's as close to realistic for all time periods as possible. Basically, chainmail was made a long time ago in the European eras, and that chainmail continued for hundreds and hundreds of years, even up through and past gunpowder. So chainmail to me is probably the most realistic armor that you can get. I like leather armor, but recently I've started finding some really well-made leather armor by some different groups out there. And if I had the money and the time, I'd probably buy that. I tried my hand at making plate armor, but over the years, Amtgard has changed their rules on plate and brigandine armor so much that it's almost not worth making your own suit anymore.
Yeah, I'm not much of a stick person myself, but I've been hearing a lot of talk about that, like just how much like the armor rulings changed over the years.
So yes, I do chainmail crafting, I do leather crafting, I do drawing. If you get me drunk enough, I'll do karaoke. Yes.
Hey, a bardic is crafting by every definition of the word, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise, because if they disagree, they're wrong, and they probably hate Amtgard, and also probably smell weird.
So when you walk up in front of the judges during a bardic and the first thing out of your mouth is, "Watch me chug these," the rest is probably
I like that.
Fun.
I think it's more of along the lines of, "Hey guys, watch this," and then you down 2 beers. Yes.
I mean, it works.
Yep. Alrighty, what's your favorite weapon combo?
Oh, well, I'm gonna have to go with sword and board, just because I have a bad collarbone. I broke my shoulder many years ago, and since then I've had a hard time doing a lot of super intricate fighting with my left arm. When I first started Amtgard, I was a Florentine fighter, because Florentine has a lot of interesting combat combos. You can beat just about any other combo with it, especially if you're a monk. A monk who is a really good Florentine fighter is frightening to behold. Polearm in a line fight is pretty devastating, especially if you get a crushing, breaking polearm and you've got a guy or gal who knows how to use them. But by and large, I would definitely have to go with a sword and board combo. Depending on how I'm feeling that day, I might use a small shield with a dagger and or short stick and a short sword. Or I might use a medium shield and a short sword. Those are kind of my go-to choices.
Sounds pretty solid.
Yeah. Alright, one more, I guess?
Let's say probably 2. Let's go 2.
Alrighty. What is your least favorite class to fight against?
Oh, least favorite class. I'm gonna have to. It depends a lot, but I dislike bards because of the command and control aspect. Unless, of course, I'm playing a barbarian. But even then, a bard can pretty much control a barbarian with terror and agoraphobia and a few other spells. I don't like druids either because their icy blast spell is a sorcery and it will freeze a poor barbarian in his steps. Just about anything else is fun to fight against. Even wizards, because there's always that chance that you're trying to get past all those spells to get up there and hit them. So I mostly just don't like druids and bards.
Ooh, what's your favorite snack?
Ooh, favorite snack. I'm gonna have to go with wasabi.
That's my favorite question.
Wasabi covered peas.
Ooh.
That sounds really good.
Like dried peas covered in wasabi. Oh my god, those are amazing. If you have a cold, it takes your nose out like nobody's business.
It's
Nice.
should probably pick some up on the way back because it's that time of year and I've been my place has been getting kind of phlegmy. I've been feeling fine so far, but probably gonna get my shot this week just in case.
Well, you eat some wasabi covered peas and it's gonna clear out your sinuses real quick.
Or that'll work too.
That's why that's my favorite question. Every time someone answers it, I go, I want to eat that next.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever gotten the same the same answer twice on this show, and that's
Nope.
probably the reason I like it so much.
Yeah. It's the most useful question.
That's true. Especially if you need to bribe a certain authority.
Snacks are certainly the best question and best answer.
Alright, well, I think this is a good place to stop then. Alright, guys, thank you all for watching this episode. And once again, thank you, Deiter, for being on the show. This has been a blast, actually.
Thank you, guys. I appreciated it.
Alright, guys, like I said, thank you all for watching our show. Tune in next time where we'll be giving some Icefire Bay a bit of love as we interview their monarch, Chinoha. Until then, I'm Hars, this is Vex, and you've been watching The Chopping Block. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.